Closer to Indonesia than Sydney and home to over 7,500 miles of pristine coastline, Western Australia offers the real outback experience most of us can only dream about. It's hotter, wilder and infinitely more exciting. So don't be a drongo and keep watching this episode of Planet Cruise Weekly. Well, hello and welcome to episode 92 of Planet Cruise Weekly. I'm Keith, and today, of course, I'm joined by my trusty confederate, Mr. Glenn Wallace, as we delve into the wild and wonderful world of Western Australia, where it's just been revealed minutes before we went on air that you actually got engaged in Western Australia.
I did, up in Broome.
Wow.
So yeah, about 4 years ago now. So yeah, it's I like it over there.
So it's a romantic place as well as an incredibly exciting place.
It is good.
So first of all, Western Australia is, in a sense, the biggest state in Australia. It's huge.
It's massive.
It's massive, isn't it? And a lot of it is outback. It's the real outback experience. And it features
kangaroos.
Lots of kangaroos. And this is an incredible place. And if you do choose to cruise Western Australia, then it's more than likely you are going to be leaving from, or at least visiting, Perth. And this is when I hand over to
Well, it's
my
the only
good
city
friend.
there, that's why.
Well, exactly, that's what.
Most isolated city in the world. Do you know that?
I did know that, yeah.
There you go.
I've read the scripts as well.
There you go. See, it's good, isn't it? But no, what we'll do, we're going to kick off with Perth, and as I said, we're going to take a look at the infamous capital of Western Australia. Now, Perth is, as I said, the most isolated state capital city in the world, and it's actually known for being closer to Indonesia than its counter capital of Sydney. Whether you're a fan of the state-of-the-art modern city centre or always on the lookout for the unique historical attractions, Perth really does have it all. It was founded in June of 1829, which makes it a mere 188 years old, and it's got a wealth of modern history which contrasts with these huge rural expanses which are inhabited by the local Aborigines and, of course, the ever-present Australian wildlife. Now, Perth is also known for its vast collection of small bars and pubs, yes it is, which are English-style establishments. And some examples of these are Greyfriars Bar, which boasts live music and a good selection of drinks on tap, or more hip bars where you'll find me normally like Choo Choo's, which is marketed as serving up good drinks, good times, and of course, good manners. Why the heck are you going to be there if it markets itself as good manners? You'll be in the old style pub now, I'll be in the Choo Choo's.
Now, the main port for Perth is called Fremantle, and that's where you'll dock when you come in on your cruise. And it's home to the mouth of what's called the Swan River and a stunning surrounding Kings Park, which is very much worth exploring. It's got its own rich history. Just by walking down the main high street, you can pass and admire the classic town hall, the poignant Fremantle War Memorial, and almost 50 acres of heritage land where there were over 250 historic buildings dating back to the 19th century.
There's a really good breakfast bar along there we used to go to every single turnaround called Gino's, and that's really good.
Gino's?
Gino's.
As in Gino Giornelli?
Yeah, very Italian based in Australia. Now, we can't talk about Fremantle's history without mentioning Fremantle Prison. And this was built by the convicts, so it's always nice to build your own prison, and it overlooks both the town and of course the Indian Ocean, and was a place of incarceration for almost 140 years until the late 20th century. Now, it's filled to the brim with history, and if you're feeling really brave, you can even join in a spooky torchlit tour of the original tunnels underneath the prison.
Now, we mentioned it before, but Kings Park and its botanic garden is absolutely incredible. I know it's Glenn's favourite thing to do and literally welcomes millions of visitors every year. And it's been titled the People's Park as there is something to do for everyone. It houses many rare and endangered species of flowers, as well as offering hands-on activities and plenty of nature-focused opportunities.
Now, after a long day exploring and getting stuck in around Perth, you of course want to refuel, and there's no better place than the edges of the Margaret River. This small town is just south of Perth and is home to many different styles of cuisine and award-winning chefs who offer a feast you won't forget. Now, after dining, why not indulge in testing the local wines in one of the town's expansive vineyards? What better place to finish the day?
It's also a good place to start the day because the Swamp Valley is one of the best and oldest and busiest wine regions in Australia. There's even a map solely dedicated to the 32 kilometre, yes I'm saying this, 32 kilometre food and wine tour.
Brilliant, excellent.
It takes several days at the rate you put them down.
What a road trip.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to exploring this beautiful area, you can choose from a scenic cruise, there's a wonderful show for classic car tour, or even a horse-drawn wagon that can escort you for the whole of the tour. But make sure you don't fall off the wagon halfway
And also
through.
make sure you're not driving. Now, if you're a sports lover, make sure you visit one of the 40 surfing spots near the Margaret River's mouth. And internationally renowned professional surfing competitions are held here, and anyone from amateur to professional levels is welcome to come and practice their rad skills. No idea what that means.
Rad. Rad, it's like radical, man.
You're 40 years of age, man. You wouldn't know what rad was if it come and bit you on the bum.
I do know what rad is.
Rubbish.
I was a skater in my youth.
God, it must have just been invented.
Yeah, okay, there were stone wheels, but still.
Let's move on.
Now, an absolute essential for any Australian cruise is the traditional all-year-round trip to the beach. And Perth has a great variety to choose from with 19 stunning beaches. If relaxing and ice-cold beverages is what you're after, then you can make your way to the golden shores of Cottleshall Beach.
That's beautiful, don't it?
Yeah, that's really stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is located at the centre of Perth's beautiful coastline and is literally bursting with fancy eateries and makes it the perfect place to grab a delicious bite to eat and lay out on the golden sand. And if you prefer more of an active day out with some ice cream thrown in, then somewhere that I really would suggest is Scarborough Beach. Don't think it's Scarborough in Yorkshire, because it's not, as is Scarborough in Australia. And it's a hotspot for surfers and shoppers. And in fact, it's expected to become Australia's best beach due to its redevelopment, which is quite an accolade.
It is. Now, another highlight of most cruises that travel along the western coast is Geraldton, and it's an extremely picturesque area with its surrounding hills, farmland and ranges. And generally, from my experience going into Geraldton, will be one of the tender ports. So normally you tender in on there because the ships are too big to get in alongside.
Which is when you use the ship's lifeboats, or they supply
to get
ships
over.
for you to get across.
Exactly. Now, if you're looking for something to do active, then this is a place to do it. And blessed with beautiful beaches, Geraldton is one of Australia's water sports hotspots. So if you're looking to do some yachting, windsurfing, surfing, diving or fishing, then this is definitely the place for you.
Now, a key favourite of mine is visiting the nearby Hoopman Abrolhos Islands, a chain of no less than 122 separate islands.
Well, they would be separate, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, that's a very good point.
They're
yeah.
one.
They're one
all
big thing.
connected.
The islands. That's a very good point. I've learnt something today. Geography was always the best thing for me. Now, these pristine islands are an archipelago, and with crystal blue waters and an abundance of sea life, they're a great place to visit. They're recognised particularly for crayfishing, pearls, birds, I'm talking about the feathered kind, and marine life. And the surrounding reef communities are a meeting place for tropical fish and incredible sea life, and it forms one of the state's unique marine areas. If you get a chance to scuba or just to snorkel, it's an incredible experience.
Another reason the islands are so well known is the infamous Batia shipwreck, which has inspired many films. Now, on June the 4th, 1629, this Dutch East India Company ship crashed in the archipelago at a spot known as Morning Reef. Now, the commander on board and selected member of the crew set off in the ship's longboats to seek help, and those left behind endured one of the most horrific mutinies in history. One of the most disastrous events in Australian maritime history, the story is told all over Geraldton, and you'll no doubt see and learn more about what happened here.
Now, while travelling or cruising along the western coast of Australia, you'll pass by the World Heritage listed Ningaloo Reef. And this is internationally recognised as one of the world's last great ocean paradises. It's close to Exmouth and Coral Bay, it's about 300 kilometres long, and it's the largest fringing coral reef on the planet.
Enjoy the clearest turquoise water imaginable in the Ningaloo Reef Lagoon, and take in the pristine coral gardens at the do-it-yourself snorkeling sites of Exmouth Cape Range National Park. Or take a swim with hundreds of tropical fish species in Coral Bay, and also keep an eye out for some of the whale sharks because they're seen around that part of the world.
From March to August, the Ningaloo Reef plays host to the largest gathering of the world's biggest fish, and there are some incredible tours to help you take advantage of this. You can, as Glenn mentioned before, swim with whale sharks out of both Exmouth and Coral Bay, plus there's loads of different eco-adventures you can do, such as viewing marine wildlife such as sea turtles, humpback whales, orcas, dugong, which are like these kind of incredible sea manatees. I've swum with those in Thailand, it was incredible. Manta rays, reef sharks.
And what else?
I'm a bit scared to mention it. You go in a cage and you see the big scary white sharks.
Yeah, always make sure you've got a cage. Now, next up is the laid-back town of Broome.
Where you got engaged.
Yes, I did.
Upper Broome.
Yes. Now, Broome is the multicultural melting pot of Australia that is reflected in the town's welcoming and laid-back feel. Now, the endless white sands of Cable Beach, which, as I said, that's where I definitely got engaged, are an absolute must-see. The water is warm and flat and gentle. Ankle-height waves are the only disturbance, the expanse of horizon-hugging blue. God, that's a word, isn't it? Now, its name harks back to 1889 when a long undersea telegraph telegraph cable connecting northwest Australia to Indonesia opened up to communicate around the world. Now these days the place is known for beautiful sunset camel rides, and again you can watch the sun descend over the water in a must-have experience. It is an amazing place to go to. Cable Beach is well renowned, and as I said, the sunset there is beautiful. Definitely why I propose there.
Given Broom's warm and often humid climate, one of the best things to do is to eat al fresco beneath one of the incredible verandas or open decks beneath tropical palms. Now Matzo's Broom Brewery, which I believe is a favourite of Glenn's, is an incredible place, particularly for mango craft beer and smoked barramundi. And there are numerous restaurants that specialise in the area, particularly with creative tapas, small plates, and some brilliant cocktails.
Just a quick story about it. I went running in Broome off the ship at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was 47 degrees when I went running.
How long did you last?
I lasted about 28 minutes, and cars kept wanting to pick me up and bring me back. And I said, no, I'll carry on, and it was hot. Now another one of the phenomenons here is what's called horizontal waterfalls.
A horizontal waterfall?
Yeah, and they are very, very rare. There's only, I think, 3 in the whole of Australia, and 2 of these can be found in Western Australia. And as I said, it's a great opportunity to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, the best way apparently to enjoy these is to do either a sea safari or do a scenic flight. And you can do that, of course, leaving from Broome or Derby to kind of fly out there or do that. I'm guessing if it's a sea safari, you'll be in some kind of motorised vessel. I wouldn't want a canoe over a horizontal waterfall, would you? No. But they're incredible, and it's quite a phenomenon. We have Googled it, and they look very impressive.
Now, obviously, people want to know, well, how can the waterfalls go sideways? Now, when we used to dock in Broome, the water level, the water going in and out of the area we were docked in, is huge, and literally all day the guys are moving the gangways because one minute it's low and then next minute it's up on deck 8. It's a crazy area. So to explain it a little bit easier, as the tide flows, a huge volume of water is forced through 2 narrow cliff passages, creating a variation in ocean level of up to about 4 metres, exactly what I was saying. And again, this gives this complete effect of a sideways or horizontal waterfall. Now, large cruise lines that travel to Western Australia include Royal Caribbean, Holland America, Princess, Celebrity, P&O, Cunard and Viking. Now, most of these will focus on the most popular ports such as Perth, but also include stops around Eastern Australia, New Zealand and even South America. Now, if you prefer a trip that includes more of the west with part of the north as well as Indonesia, it's best to look at the smaller luxury lines like Silversea, Seabourn, Ponant and Azamara.
So I guess an important question is, when can you cruise in Australia?
Oh yeah.
Exactly, yeah, pretty much. It is potentially a year-round cruise destination. Although the so-called wave season is October to April, and it's then that the Aussies go particularly cruise crazy, and you'll find the greatest choice of departures, vessels and itineraries. And it's worth noting that the Australian winter runs from June to August, and in the southern states this can get a little bit chilly, though of course if you're used to UK weather, it's really nothing like that.
I would say though, to be quite honest, whether if you want to go down to Australia, then most of the British cruise lines and Cunard and Pitt do their world cruise all around January, February time. So as I said, if it was me, I'd stick to your October to April time. Now, summer is from December through to February, and it can be extremely hot. So if you're visiting over the Christmas period, be prepared with sunscreen and bottles of water. Now, if you're lucky enough to be there over Christmas, which I have been on a number of times, don't expect a traditional roast. Some classic Aussie Christmas grub includes prawns on the barbie, cherries, and of course, lots of booze.
So yeah, I hope that's helped you. Do get in contact and let us know if you've cruised around Western Australia.
But we are going to be doing a show, aren't we? We are going to be doing a show in a few weeks' time.
We are going to be looking at it, yeah, we are. But get in contact and tell us what you think and what you'd like to see. And if people do want to get in contact, Glenn, what do they do?
Loads of different ways. You can contact us at hello@planetcruise.com. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and on there as well, they've got the new little bell system. So click on that, and that will tell you, because I know all of you on tenterhooks when the next show is coming out, and that will alert you. Now, if you don't like that, go onto the website. On the website there, we've got 18,400 cruises on there at the moment. I checked this morning. And we've got everything from Australia and New Zealand, or if maybe the purse strings don't stretch that, I can do you a 2-day mini cruise to Bruges. So there's something for everyone.
Such a wheelie dealer.
Always.
I could do you. I could do you.
I could do you a deal.
Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Before we finish, we want to say a few thank yous. And actually what we're going to mention now is some of the wonderful comments that you leave on the FIFO website, which is one of the ways that we get ranked for our customer service.
Yes.
There's a lovely one here actually. It says, the sales representative dealing with our holiday was very knowledgeable and helpful in suggesting how to obtain our request. We wanted 2 cabins next together next to each other. I'm guessing that's what they mean. And he was able to do this with little problem. Thank you so much for your help. Jeff, so Jeff from Planet Cruise, well done.
There you go. And also we've got a comment about Donna from our concierge team. This is our third booking with Planet Cruise and the last experience was extremely and exceptionally good. Donna was more than helpful, so well done Donna from the concierge team.
Extremely and exceptionally.
Oh, there you go. Look.
Very descriptive, very descriptive. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.